Good morning. Sorry I'm a bit late. I had a late start today. I was up I was up watching YouTube and then fell asleep, woke up again at like I don't know 6 or something and said I should probably put an alarm up. Nah, I'll wake up. Nah, it's 11. So I apologize if I'm running a little late. Let me just make sure everything's okay. How is everybody? Good? Yeah? You excited about brunch? Are we going to hang out? I hope so. Oh, well, how's that? That's the mirror. I'm just comparing. No, this is much better. Much, much better. Well, I bet we're all the worse for wear. Did anyone go out Saturday? Anybody here go out Saturday? Were there anybody more social than me? Does it help if I'm inspired to go out? So I did make my vacation arrangements for those of you who were asking about where I was going to be my next trip. I'm trying to figure out what the big, I hear different things about different parts of the world. And so Malaysia is the winner. It was we couldn't decide, my friend and I. We like to go traveling a couple times a year. And so we thought we were going to go on a cruise. We're like, okay, that's a cruise. You go on a cruise and it's like $150 for a massage. And it's nice. Everything is great. But if you go to someplace, it looks like Linda's on, so it might be slow. She's usually not in 11 a.m. on Sunday because she knows I have a standing brunch, but we'll see how this goes. So that's the question, right? Should we stay or should we go? What are you guys feeling? Who here has decided to leave the country? Who here has decided to leave the United States? That's the question. Can you sit through 4 years of Donald Trump? And is the problem bigger than Donald Trump? Because if he's just a figurehead for a political turn that's happening in the United States towards fascism, then I think that that's really the issue for a lot of people is it's not that they're leaving so much because of Donald Trump as the fact, excuse me, that DC allowed this to happen, that DC didn't only allow this to happen, but that DC helped make this happen. And so so the cat's out of the bag, and many Americans feel that we no longer have a country. It's not just the draconian policies of this administration. It's the fact that it's the fact that the fascists took the Supreme Court. It's the fact that they took the courts. They took the House. They took the Senate. And you have kind of two decisions, right? Either stay or leave. Those are the decisions, people, that you can leave. People keep saying, I can't leave. You dismantle your life and you leave. If you have a salary of $900 a month, you do not need to live in the United States. The dollar is extremely strong. It's one of the strongest coins in the world. So if you've got $900 a month, there's plenty of places you can live out and not live in the United States. and live in Philippines. Go to the Philippines. You know, this is something that happens a lot, was that people will come on the show and then they will ask me to explain why another psychic said something. I don't have any relationship at all with the psychics on YouTube. We don't know each other than the fact that we know of each other on YouTube. But I can't tell you why 90% of psychics are saying he won't be president, other than the fact that maybe 90% of psychics want you to feel better and you're upset. And so they're telling you what you want to hear. But if you look at the situation objectively, there's no reason he wouldn't be. The people voted for him. He got the popular vote and he got the electorate. So it would be irrational to think, given how popular Trump is, and he's a very dynamic figure, that people wouldn't vote for him. If you were 14 years old when he got elected the first time, you grew up in a Trump world. And so this idea that 18-year-olds voting for the first time are not going to vote for him when he is their normal, you accept whatever reality is presented to you, just like the Truman Show. And so these young kids that voted for him, these young boys, he was nostalgic for them, right? Yeah, I remember him from when I was 14 and my dad took me to the inauguration. That's the kind of feeling of why a lot of young males voted for him. It completely confuses them when they go out into the real world and then they start telling women they voted for Trump. I voted for a politician to take your rights away, to strip you of your rights if you're a woman and children in the event of an emergency like rape, etc. I have sold you to the states. Why won't you go out with me? I would say that the overwhelming majority of young males that voted for Trump didn't even think about it. Because it's a very male-dominated society of young males in heat, pumping each other up like young warriors, off to fight a battle. And they don't understand that the rest of us think that that's weird. You know, people go through changes. First, we are children. And then males go through what's known as the warrior class. They have to go through warrior training. This is found all over the world. I am a man. They have to fight the fight. And the problem with the West is we don't have any initiation into the warrior class. In Judaism, it's called a bat mitzvah or a bar mitzvah. You have this ceremony when the testosterone hits. You're going to change. Your personality is going to change. Your voice is going to change, because of testosterone surging. And we are wise enough to know that when 13 hits, your whole personality is going to change. It's like possession, right? What happened to my nice little boy? He used to be so sweet. Now he's a jerk, right? So that ceremony in most cultures of that testosterone surge takes place around the age of 13. So the problem with American boys is that they never had that initiation. And so for them, the closest they're going to get to an initiation is attending a Republican Party convention. They need to belong. They need to be part of a group of boys their own age, and they need to be part of some type of an initiation. And when that doesn't exist in the society at large, they'll go find it somewhere else. So I think that's a lot of it also. I think it says a lot about the people in charge that they wanted Matt Gaetz for AG. Matt Gaetz, AG. This is an example of one of those of where people are trying to see what they can get away with. That you can be a pot-smoking, human trafficking prescription drug popping creep, and yet you are such a narcissist, you think you're the one that should be in charge of, should be the attorney general. And then it also speaks to people like Elon Musk and Donald Trump that somebody like this can traffic children and they don't have a problem with it. Doesn't bother me any. Doesn't bother Donald Trump. It doesn't bother Elon Musk. So that tells you what your government thinks about you if you're a woman, what the value of your life is, whether or not you are cherished, whether or not you're going to be protected by this government. So that's why the conversation becomes, do you stay or do you leave? So yesterday, that was one of the conversations people were asking in the private readings when we got together for private readings. Should we stay or should we leave? And calling on ancestors to give me guidance of, who are my ancestors? Which ancestors am I attracting? Who is calling me to do what? And many people got the traveling female. Many people got them. And the traveling female is the history of the barefoot doctor, who was a woman who traveled the four corners of the earth with just often barefoot along the Silk Road, avoiding places of war. She remained nomadic. She was paid in whatever the trade, barter, coins. And she was able to simply avoid war by simply slipping from country to country over the years, forever moving, forever wandering with her medicines and her fortune telling, kind of anonymous. She just goes all over the world looking for people to help, never really committed to any country. So this is, in fact, the archetype that was given to our group. And so many people received that and felt, you know what? That is who I am, that speaks to me. And so for that reason, I am preparing for the big shift, and I'm probably going to be moving to Puerto Vallarta or someplace like that, because they felt that kind of switch or that kind of connection. But that's not the only then we did a second card. We did a second card of clarification for people. See if I can find that. And the second clarification was the exact opposite. The second clarification is root work. Where is it? I'd like to show it to you if I can find it. I love that. That's one of my totems. But so the other instruction for half the people, it was be the wandering female. Half the group, it was get up and leave, be the wandering female. And then for the other half, it was stay put, protect yourself, ground yourself, and the way to stability was to be so deeply entrenched into the earth that nothing can pull you from the earth. So they were two entirely different answers to the same question. One was told that they leave, and the other was told that they should stay. And I thought that was kind of interesting. For whatever reason, I can't find the card, but basically, it's the card of being rooted. It's the card of being grounded. So I guess the takeaway was that not everybody should leave. Not, it had to do with personality. Some people cannot mentally and emotionally take 4 years of what? What are you talking about? New stream. Oh. Yeah, I don't know what the hell I'm doing with this damn thing. It looks like I accidentally started 2 streams. I got to delete this. Sorry about that. Really would love to find that card about I love the fact that the Oracle is one of the here it is. This is the archetype for half of you. Sorry it took so long to find that. Sorry about that, Debbie. That's how I get without coffee. I'm not rational. So go into your gut and trust your intuition. If your intuition says, I am to leave the United States and I'm to go wander for the next 4 years. I'll go and I'll have a permanent base in Malaysia, which is cheap, or a permanent base in somewhere in Mexico where I can just keep my stuff. And I'll go spend some time in the Philippines. I'll go spend some time in Botswana. Like maybe, yeah, people going to Botswana, Thailand. There's some cheap places you can live for $900 a month in Thailand. So a lot of people are just not necessarily divesting of the United States. They're just taking a break. And I think that's not a bad idea, because if you're feeling like you need a break, it doesn't mean, and I would not recommend people purchase right now because we don't know what tomorrow, or any large financial, but you may want to just keep yourself fluid and then think about where you want to live in the future. Like if you want to live somewhere for the next 6 months in Malaysia, you could do that. There's plenty of places where you can get an extended visa or a retirement visa if you decide to leave. So those are the 2 archetypes, and you have to decide which one calls to you more. Which one of these archetypes do you feel you need? So you may feel like you're me, you're whimsy, you got to travel. Malaysia's super hot. I've heard that, and so it's probably not going to be my point of origin. Earth Guardian is to stay rooted. Don't go anywhere under Trump. Be as rooted as possible. And the more rooted you become and the heavier the winds get, it won't matter, because you've got a bunker, you've got food, you've got weapons, you've got ammunition, you've got a plan, you own your land. So this is a very different way of handling stress. Hunker down and build roots, and nobody's going to take me off my land. This is the path of least resistance. War is coming, so I think I'll just move on. Which are you? Which do you feel most connected to? great when this thing gets fixed. It'll be great when my computer, they keep knocking me off the dang Xfinity. I will be so happy when it's fixed. Anyway, sorry about that. No, Mexico, she's just talking bullshit. She's not going to kick out a bunch of poor seniors living. She's too nice, sweet a person. She's a nice Jewish lady. She's just threatening. You're not getting kicked. Your seniors are not, she's not going to take you out of here. She's not. It's like Boca Raton down there. What do you think? She's going to go down there and kick out a bunch of old Jewish ladies living on fixed incomes? And she's not going to do that. They might kick out a few troublemakers. Yeah. Well, Karen W. owns her own land and she has her own. Who here has like a great living situation? That's what I'd like to know. Who here has like a great living situation? And oh, by the way, tell me what you're eating. Tell me what you're drinking. Sorry, I got disconnected. We're having some technical difficulties. Yes, tell me what you're eating. Tell me what you're drinking. Tell me if you're going to leave or stay out of the United States. What decision have you made? Are you hunkering down? The winds of change are coming, but you will not be affected. You're going to stay right where you're at. Or have you decided, you know what? I'm a lover, not a fighter. I can't take it anymore. That is what you've got to figure out. Okay, hold on a second. Cancel. Did everybody see, that we have a charity for the week? Yes, a charity for the week. We are raising money for feedamerica.org. And I'm just going to put that up. So if you enjoy the stream and if you feel you would like to contribute to, this is what we do for the holidays, is we raise money for feedamerica.org because many people don't have food for the holidays. So that will continue to be our charity for the month if you decide that you would like to leave. Coffee, Arun Healing Vibrations. Now you're saying you're going to go to wherever the coffee is good. There are people that do that. They say, well, is marijuana legal there? Well, marijuana is legal in Mexico and Amsterdam. Okay, I'll go there, right? Or is alcohol legal? Can I drink in this country? So people will think about that. Do they want to live in this country? Can I handle the weather? LC has a nice situation. Of course, LC's in Seattle, which is prime real estate. So if they gets a headache, she can just say, forget this crap and go spend a weekend in Canada. If nothing else, then just go take your pup tent. Bellingham, Washington is great. You just take your pup tent, go across the border and go hide in the woods, just as some kind of symbol with the grizzlies, just to get away from everything. Oh my God, Kim Holm Fortner. So what I would do if I was Kim Holm Fortner is I would probably do a bunker. I would look into a bunker and I would look into a war bunker just because it's something that you should do if you own land in the event of an emergency. Something that's weatherproof in the event of like massive mega storms. Like it wouldn't be something that would flood in a mega storm. That's the first. It would have enough food in it for maybe 5 to 10 years. And it would, if it had lead for radiation, all the better. But yeah, if I had money and land, I would probably build, and I had the resources, I'd probably have them build me a bunker. Peter Thiel has a bunker he built in New Zealand in the event of a nuclear war. I love the Pacific Northwest. I'm living here right now. It is expensive. Portland is considered expensive, but not as expensive as New York. It's where I grew up, so there's a feeling, it's a nice feeling of being home. Mila loves it here. I keep thinking of getting Mila on a plane and getting Mila through customs and getting her through everything to get to Puerto Vallarta. There's a 4.5 flight direct flight. Will she survive it? Will she just be a freaking mess? How do I safely... Mila does not travel. Cats don't travel well. Do I just put her to sleep for 8 hours until I can get her? If I did decide to go to Puerto Vallarta, like, how do I get my cat physically to Puerto Vallarta, which she would love, by the way, because it's the same weather as California, and she can sit and chase after bugs in the courtyard, and it'll be just like East LA, which is where she comes from. She was born in East LA. She was born in the barrio. So she speaks the language. Yes, Mila speaks the language. So yeah, we're going to go ahead. We'll do the empath prayer. But that was the thing that I thought we would talk about is, do you vibrate with putting down roots, or do you vibrate with, you know what? I've got a little money. I live on $1,200 a month. I'm not rich, but I can certainly afford to slow immigrate all over the world. So I think I'll go spend 6 months in Albania, 6 months in Thailand until this crazy blows over. Canada is $2,000 a month. Well, those are Canadian dollars, so about 1,700 US. Yeah, that's about right. Iowa is a very great state. People are pretty happy in Iowa, but it's so funny that the most respected study out of Iowa showed Harris winning by 3 points. Yeah, they say that there's astrocartography you can do. But what I do is I do what's called your gut instincts. Go to the country and see if you like it. Say, wow, it feels like coming home. I could live here. Or does it feel like I got to get out of here? When I first moved to Israel, I felt like I could let out a big sigh of relief, believe it or not. Even though I was in the middle of a war zone, I felt like I had come home. This is my country. It was my country. I had come home. I became naturalized. I became an Israeli citizen. I lived there for 6 years. And then I went back to the States to basically get an education, a career, and because I didn't have those when I was in my 20s. But I think that's the only place outside the United States where when I open the door and enter into that country, it's like, okay, I know a lot of the people here. They're friends of mine. It's like my backyard in the Middle East. It's like checking out neighborhoods, checking out the falafel stand. I know the culture really well. I spent so many years there. But again, it's an expensive country. And there's a lot of MAGA supporters there. So I think it would be really difficult for me to live in a country. Well, there's a lot of good in Israel, too, because there's a lot of people working on peace and who think exactly like me, which is why I do fit in there. So I don't know. Certainly if I decided, the easiest thing for me to do legally would be to just go back to Israel. But the problem is that Netanyahu is Trump's best friend. So how's that going to help me? Study abroad is really affordable for seniors. There are a lot of opportunities. For example, there's a violin in Austria. There's some nice programs where you can get, because you're eligible for dorm rooms. You're eligible for, if they have excess dorm rooms at certain universities in Europe, and you are one, and you are trying to rent a room for 450 a month, 450 euro a month, because you're part of a violin school for seniors, which is a program I was looking into in Austria, was that I would just spend 2-3 months, learning German, learning the violin, and renting at one of the dorms, because I'd be eligible, because I would be there to study. And a lot of people do that. They have violin programs, and you can get dorm space in France and Germany for sure, because I've looked at it. They had a nice violin program. It was in the south of France, and it was attached to some university where I could get really nice housing. The other option was to be paired with a family. They had family pairing where families in the neighborhood rented out rooms, which I think at my age, I just don't think I would want to do that. I would want more independence, like to uh, rent dorms in the section which is for like seniors, adults coming internationally to study, and just hang out with my tribe. I don't think I would want to. I'm too old to be living in some, that's a little too weird for me. Cruise to Hawaii. We were going to do a cruise, but then we realized that going to Malaysia for 2 weeks was half the price. And so we decided to go to Malaysia instead. Well, we like massage, my friend and I, Francis. We like to get massages. So we chose to go to Malaysia because they have women's spas. You can go spend the whole day there for $20. And then, a full massage is $25. So we're girls, so we're going to travel all over Malaysia going to beauty spas and getting beauty treatments. I know, seems boring. Maybe do a little snorkeling. There are programs through the Saban. There are senior art programs. I looked at a few of them, Fillerin, and they do come with dorm accommodation, which usually runs between 450, 550 euro a month. The Cordon Bleu also has dorm arrangements through France if you want to go and just study for a couple of weeks at the Cordon Bleu. So yeah, like a lot of fun things, great ways to do it that are not expensive. Israel, your best bet if you want affordable accommodation is to go and pick berries or nuts or tomatoes or oranges. There's a lot of agriculture, and you can probably get free housing in Israel in exchange for working 6 to 8 hours a day on a kibbutz. Those programs are very available right now. We have a lot of foreigners coming in from places like the Philippines helping to pick, because some of the kibbutzes have fled due to the war. So yeah. Lumpur, is that what you call it, Kay? We're going to the main city, and then we're going to travel. If you have any recommendations about what we should visit in Malaysia, but we'll be arriving in the capital, and yeah, it ought to be fun. Ticket and 5-star hotel ran us $1,500 for a 5-star hotel for 5 days in Lumpur. I believe that's how you say it. And that was $1,500. And then we plan on staying at 3 and 4-star hotels because they're so cheap there all over. And so I think I can probably do the entire trip for $2,500. 2 weeks. I can't imagine going beyond 3,000. it doesn't cost any money. I mean, your meals run you about $5 to $10 a day. Your transportation is going to run you you're going to spend $20 a day. And then your hotel, you can get really nice accommodations for $40 a night if you're staying 3-star. So it'd be really hard to go beyond $3,000 a month. Kuala Lumpur. Thank you. Kuala Lumpur. Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to Kuala Lumpur. I know nothing about it. I just heard that Malaysia was an amazing country and a lot of expats love it. Cheap and extremely hot. What time of the year did you go, okay? Well, January then would be the perfect time to go to Malaysia if it's that hot, because I don't like heat and I don't like humidity, so it rules out, well, Albania sounds like a good choice. Albania is cheap, it's in Europe, and it's not too hot. All right, let's do the Empath's prayer. If anybody here wants to receive a healing, please let us know who you are or our families are so that we can include you in our prayers. 3-month tourist visa at the airport when you arrive where? Malaysia? Malaysia's 3 months. Golden visas are popular. You can apply for a golden visa if you're retired. Or you can do slow hopping, which is where you move every 3 months so that you don't piss off the authorities. I mean, there's so many options. I'm a digital nomad, so. $1,600 a month to live in Albania. So if you have an income of $1,600 a month, you should be fine. Less if you're traveling. Less if you're traveling. So let's see. Okay. The humidity will take you out. Yeah. Okay. So we now know Whimsy will not be moving to Malaysia. Yes. Okay. My sister's asking about Malaysia. I think she's thinking of joining us. All right. So if you'd like to be included in our prayers for healing, I got to tell her I'm live. Well, there you go. Well, my sister is a world traveler too. She's a retired nurse. And so she, okay. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't think I can handle. It sounds beautiful, Malaysia, but if the humidity is that bad, it would drive me out of Malaysia. I think the one thing you could do is you could keep your stuff there. You could keep your stuff there, but then you would. You remember, what did you miss? Well, we're talking about whether or not people have decided. Spirit gave us a message. We had a message yesterday from Spirit regarding what's going on in the United States. Should we stay or should we leave the United States? And the message from Spirit is you should leave or you should stay. So half the group got this card. The traveling woman who goes from, so the traveling nomad. So half of us said, the Spirit said, it is best given your temperament to leave. And then we asked for clarification, and the exact opposite came from Spirit. It is based on your temperament that you should stay home and root yourself deep into the ground and do contingencies in the event of an emergency. And it is, you are safer remaining where you are than to attempt to leave. So that shows the complexity of Spirit in the sense that for many of you, it would be disastrous for you to leave the United States. You've got homes and property and pets. And so Spirit is being very logical and saying, for you, we want you to hunker down, barrel down the hatches, check the perimeter, make sure you've got adequate food, make sure you've got a safe place to go in the event of bad weather, everything that you would normally be doing, and stay rooted and root yourself deep into the ground. For people who say, I'm highly sensitive, my mental health is not good, I don't know if I can take Trump, I'm a healer, I'm an empath, I don't feel safe, I don't have family, I feel up. You know what? In that case, child, it is advice from Spirit that you get out of the country for a while. So what I love about the fact that both cards came to this community is that people were really freaking out and they were crying and upset. I can't leave my cat. And so it was nice that Spirit came in. If you're that person, why don't you go ahead and prepare for the worst possible scenario and take care of yourself and just stay where you're at, and you'd probably be better off that way. You don't have to leave, but you do need to get organized. I think that Elon Musk worked with the Brazilian government. I guess they kind of slapped his hand, but then worked with him afterwards. The problem with the rich is this is why a lot of people are deciding to leave the United States, because we feel like we've entered into a psych hospital. I feel that I'm losing my mind in the United States. That's the bottom line. I feel like I have lost my mind. I'm talking to people and it's like they're hypnotized and they're under mind control, and that scares me. Did you not see that he was convicted of rape of E. Jean Carroll? Did you not see him stand at the Capitol organizing a rebellion against the United States? People died. Oh, he's great. Trump is great. He's going to do so many things for our economy. He's a great president. So I feel that I have entered into 1984. I feel that people are crazy. This country is crazy. People have gone crazy. And it's making me think I got to get out of here, because I feel like, and I'm being told I'm crazy. It's not just that we all witnessed January 6th and the fact that this guy was convicted, and we witnessed the multiple times that this creep avoided prison. That's not what's freaking me out as an American. What's freaking me out is how many Americans are completely hypnotized. How did they get hypnotized? Who's hypnotizing them? And what the hell happened to is this the United States? And the Republican Party stuns me. They're like helping this guy. Who are you? Who are you people? And then when they stripped me, then they told me that my vagina was the property of the state, that we are state property. I mean, how much can I bury my head in denial about what clearly has happened to this country? So for me, I couldn't accept reality and stay in this country. That's where the point I'm at, because they're insane. They're insane. The country's insane. The politicians are insane. And talking to Trump supporters is making me crazy. And then they come onto this channel and say, well, she's stark raving mad because I'm telling the truth. He's a rapist. He's a treasonous rapist. It's like, am I the only adult in the room? Am I the only person in this room that's not crazy? That's why I'm leaving the United States. No, Trump and Putin were not lovers. They barely know each other. Okay, let's do the empath's prayer. Okay, gather round, children. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, as a community, we say, Amen. And for those of you today who are requesting healing for yourselves and for those that you love, may you receive a perfect healing, both for yourself and for those you love, in mind, body, and spirit. May all your wounds be healed. May your heart be healed. May you be safe. May you be well loved. Well, may you be nourished and protected. And together as a community, we say, Amen. Amen to all of you. So the conversation about Putin and whether or not Putin was going to drop the bomb, Putin and the bomb. This is probably the leading question I've received this weekend. So when I go into the energy and I have to be somebody as a remote viewer and switch and put myself in the shoes of Putin, what I have said to people is that as Putin, I feel very threatened. I feel very threatened, and I feel that people need to back off. People need to back off and stop threatening me. Or I could do something irrational. So it seems to me, given this kind of nature, that it would be that if this is the energy that this individual is I don't know why I can't pin this. If that is what's going on, then we have to be very careful as the West not to provoke Putin, because it's a unstable situation. It's a very, very unstable situation. And so no, Janice Ingram, he is a serial rapist, including raping a 12-year-old child at an Epstein party while people watched. So there were witnesses that testified to the FBI about it. It's one of the cases that the FBI chose not to prosecute. He tied up a 12-year-old little girl and ripped her open in front of an audience. Okay? So he's very sick. He's a very sick man. Told a crying rape victim who was 12 years old that she could go have an abortion, and that it was like it's no big deal to rape and impregnate 12-year-olds, because Trump doesn't think it's a big deal. And that is why they voted for it. These people don't consider women and children people, and that's what we're trying to help everyone come to terms with. Do you feel safe in a country that doesn't care whether you're alive or dead or safe? And I don't, and I want to go be in places where women are people. So that was my decision. For other people, they're going to hunker down and they're going to fight the good fight. This is my land. Well, good luck with that. If you're in Texas, then you have to think in terms of your actual safety if you have grandkids coming to visit, because if somebody's raped or there's an incident and they can't get medical attention, they could become part of the 24,000 unwanted rape babies in the state of Texas. So that's part of what I try to do, is give people reality about our situation and then give you reality about what you can do about it. But I've been cautioned not to tell you people what you want to hear, which is why I'm losing subscribers. I've been told by you folks that you want the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Well, you should see how many people have unsubscribed when I started telling people that we're at a greater than 50% chance of a nuclear incident in the Ukraine war. We are at a greater than 50% chance, which means he could bomb the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, creating a dirty bomb. If his nuclear weapons are not working that well, Putin, it doesn't matter. He can simply use his weapons to bomb existing nuclear power plants in the West. And at that point, he has a dirty bomb. My point is not to drag people down and chase them off, but to say, can you sit in the truth that this is a real possibility in this world? Can you do anything about it? If you don't feel safe under this administration, which would be a rational response given who they are, you have two choices. You can hunker down and protect yourself, in which case you have to look at every scenario of the worst possible scenario under a dictatorship like this, under this type of fascism, and make the appropriate results. To live in la la land and just pretend nothing's going to happen, I'm good, I got my farm, that would be dangerous. To bury your head in the sand and say, well, let's just sit back and see what else they're going to do, that also is disastrous. And what I'm saying to you on this channel, do not sit back passively like a deer in the headlight while he goes and gets the gun. Do you hear me? What's that hunter doing? He's fishing. Oh, he stopped the car. Oh, now he's going into his glove compartment. The problem with the Democrats and with you and I is we're sitting here frozen. Good God, what else are they going to do? Oh my God, what else? Good God, oh my God. That's not helping you. They're fascist. They will operate from a fascist playbook. So you know that. You can sit back and see how horrible it's going to get, or you can make the necessary arrangements. Do you need to leave or do you need to stay? Well, I'm staying. Okay, so what's that going to look like? What is that going to look like? What if you lose your Social Security? I don't think you're going to lose your Social Security, but the thing is that I want people to be realistic going into it and just what's coming for us? Can you stay here and be honest about it? Because I don't want to have another situation where people are screaming and ranting and attacking me because Harris didn't get elected. And then blaming me. Well, I gave you hints. Anytime I try to give you guys hints that there's a real chance that this creep could win this thing, you people attacked me. I can't stand her negativity. I'm going to leave. Well, you kind of put me in a bind. Well, we want the truth. Well, the real truth is he could. I'm leaving. I can't handle this negativity. You know what? Put your head in the sand and continue to live. Everything's going to be great. Everything's going to be great. Everything's going to be. What are you, 5 years old? Everything is not great. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to help you here make a decision. Can you afford to leave or can you afford to stay? I mean, those are the questions you have to be asking yourself. Don't blame the remote viewer. I looked at the situation objectively. I put myself in the shoes of Putin, and I'm at about a 50% chance of an erratic, violent behavior because I'm cornered and I lost the war and they've surrounded me. That's how I feel as Putin. Well, this thing over here on my right, the Sweden thing is freaking me out. They're moving closer. And Poland, they're coming closer and back. You better fucking back off or I'm gonna do it. That's how I feel as Putin. Put yourself in Putin's shoes. Put yourself in Putin's shoes. I got him coming in from this side. And then I got him coming from the west. I got him coming from the west. I got to come. I'm here. I'm getting encroached. I'm here. I'm getting encroached as Putin. This is how I feel. I'm desperate. I'm going to lose everything. What do I do? You better fucking back off, or I swear to God, I'll do it. Y'all get away from me. Y'all get away from me, or I swear to God, I'm going to do it. I will push this fucking button. Just back off. But it will kill everybody. You think I'm being rational right now? I'm not being rational as Putin. I'm emotional. I'm distraught. I also have a history of drug problem, possibly amphetamines. I'm paranoid. They're coming in. I've used up my weapons cache. I'm begging North Korea for military help. How desperate does that make me? And you keep getting closer. You better back off. I still got nukes. I can bomb Zaporizhia. Better back off. So what does that tell me about what Biden needs to do? Here's the problem, folks. The problem is if we make a peace treaty with Putin, is that good or bad? Putin wants a peace treaty. Remember, we said Putin's going to give a peace treaty and we're going to reject it. Y'all remember that from Thursday? He gave a peace proposal. They rejected it. Next question to you is this. Should we make a deal with Putin? Should we make a deal with Iran to work out the trade routes? Which is what this has always been about. That's why I keep repeating it over and over for the last 5 to 6 years. You must hear this. Should we make peace with Putin and Iran and say, you know what, we're never going to agree. Elon Musk is right. War is terrible. Let's just work out these trade routes. We all are free to trade, and we're going to stop this nonsense. Is a peace treaty with Russia and Iran a viable solution to avoiding World War III? That is my first question to everybody. We don't have any medical records, but I've been getting some weird medical hits on Donald Trump. I have been getting weird medical energy coming off of Donald Trump. Like I'm a medical intuitive. That's why I went to medical school, is because I can feel people's illnesses. But he's not well. He refused to show his medical. He refused to show his finance. We don't know who the hell this guy is. What's wrong with our country that we're okay with bringing this nut job in here? Thank you, LMA Bellinger. LMA Bellinger has been clearly watching this channel. That is correct. That is what the data shows. The data shows based on remote viewing, but also I got the remote and then I did the calculations. This was Look, when you're a remote viewer, you have an advantage. You get to see the news 3 weeks early, right? December 20th, 2023, note to the Israeli Defense Forces. Do not make a deal with Iran and Russia for normal relations in exchange for profits from the Abraham Accords. Steps 4 and 5 of the 6 phases. 4, Putin has to be arrested and tried in The Hague sooner rather than later. No negotiation. 5, we have to dismantle Iranian leadership. No negotiations for any kind of normalization. Why did the author of the study, some crazy lady named Dr. Whimsy Anderson, I don't know, she's some crazy anthropologist out of Portland. Why'd the anthropologist, hey, I got a question. I'm at the IDF and we're sitting around talking about this data that was supplied by this crazy scientist, and they're all hanging out at the IDF war room looking at this. The data is the data. It doesn't matter if it's some crazy, it doesn't matter whether it's some crazy lady giving you it doesn't matter who the lunatic is, because the data is the data. So the first 3 phases, in order to avoid World War III, you had to follow 6 phases. That's the data. The data was collected first as a remote viewer. Sorry, something's causing me to have a reaction. First, I did the data as a remote viewer. I saw it as a remote viewer. And then I went, what I usually do is I'll see the information and then I will hunker down as a researcher. And why the fuck did I see that? And then I will try to either disprove or prove what I saw. What is my brain putting together that I don't have? Because my brain is figuring it out before I can intellectually figure it out. So phase 1, we get to cease fire. 2, exchange hostages. 3, we get to do the rebuild. This is what the data showed. And then we can talk about dismantling. But you can't have peace with a terrorist. You can't have peace with someone who's committed to wiping you off the face of the map.
Israel had proposed a 3-phase ceasefire deal to the Palestinian militant group Hamas. According to Biden, American hostages would be released in the first phase of the ceasefire deal, along with women, the elderly, and the wounded, in exchange for the release of hundreds of Palestinian prisoners. Despite global outrage over an Israeli airstrike that killed at least 45 displaced Palestinian civilians in Rafah City, Israel continued its operation in Gaza. What did you think of this latest development? Let us know.
So the point is that if they had disagreed with my data, they wouldn't have gone out with, they would not have accepted the phases. Do you understand? If Biden accepted phases 1 through 3, I would assume he's accepting phases 4, 5, and 6. Do you see where my brain is at? He announced it in May. They had 6 months to refute my data. The Israelis and Biden and the State Department got a copy. So the conclusion was that they did agree with Dr. Anderson's data. And they began to suggest implementation of the 3 phases, which tells you what? Which tells you what? There's never going to be a deal with Putin. Do you understand? There's never going to be a deal with Iran. So what else does this tell you, December 20th, 2023? What does it tell you? It tells you that Trump is coming back and that he's going to try and bring Russia and Iran into the Abraham Accords for the Middle East peace process. and that the remote viewers are ahead of the game and already had the documentation ready a year earlier saying, do not do this thing. Do not do this thing. Please listen to me. I know I'm a woman and I know that I am not military. So you don't have to respect me. But I'm telling the new administration, please do not do this thing. Do I have to be on my freaking knees grabbing, grabbing Elon Musk, grabbing, what is it? Grabbing the shoes or grabbing the pants of Elon Musk saying you need to listen to you don't respect women. And so maybe you don't have to listen to what I'm trying to say to you, but you cannot do this thing. Please, you must listen to me. You have to listen to me. I know I'm a crazy psychic lady on YouTube, but I'm doing real data collection. Do you please listen to me? You have to fucking listen to me. Do not do this deal. If people that were doing data collection years ago were saying this is coming and it's a mistake, it's going to lead us closer to World War III. Why is it going to lead us closer to World War III? Why are we getting closer to World War III? Why are we closer to World War III? That's the question. That's the fundamental question. We're closer to World War III because if we do what the scientist is saying we should not do, please, God, listen to me. Listen to me. Do not do this thing. The only thing you'll be doing is arming your enemies, and then they will wipe you out the next time around. So if Putin doesn't have any weapons and he has a peace proposal that he's going to be prepared, please let us talk about things. Let us be reasonable with your hegemonic policies. Meanwhile, he's the one that invaded a foreign country. You are hegemonic. You must be reasonable. Let us accept my peace proposal. What's the problem? We already had a heads up over a year ago about what you had planned. And we already know what happens if we accept that deal. You're going to use the money to rearm your nukes, to rearm Iran's nukes. And then you're going to be a bigger monster that we can't control 3 years from now. And then who's in charge? They're in charge. Do you see how dangerous this is? And so what does Biden have to do? You see the situation Biden is in right now. Does everybody see Joe Biden's situation? Because Joe Biden is accepting the data. Do you see what's really happening, everybody? I can't show you the response. Response June 3rd? No, because that's correspondence. I can't show you that. Clearly, after Biden made the announcement on the phases, there was some communication. I can't show you everything. You guys are nosy. Sometime, I believe it was, June 1st, June 2nd, when Biden gave the 3 proposals. So if you see a correspondence above that says June 3rd, 2024, 2:44 a.m., correspondence with Israel, maybe there's a correlation. I'll leave you guys to figure it out. So what do we do? What does the United States do in a situation like this? We plow through. And that's precisely what we're doing. We're plowing through. There's only one way that this can end, and that is with NATO marching on Moscow. There is no deal to be made. The only way that you can keep him from pushing the button is if you make him think we're agreeing to a peaceful resolution. But we, alas, can never agree to a peaceful resolution because it would only amount to arming our enemies. And now you know what I know, and you know what Biden knows, and you know what the Israeli Defense Forces know. And that gives you power. Do you understand? And that's my purpose as a remote viewer, not to tell you what you want to hear, but to give you information so that you now know what's coming. Okay, I've got that in my back pocket. Thank you, Dr. Anderson. No, I didn't charge you, but you might want to donate something to feedamerica.org. You have decisions to make about your life. You are not helpless. You are not helpless. But this is objective reality. This is what's happening right now. Does that help? No sugarcoating, just the truth. But I also want you to know that you have the power to do whatever the hell you like. Is this better for you to have the channel be like this? I think so. I think it's better for my mental health, and I think it's better for your mental health, because no one's lying to you and gaslighting you and telling you something that you want to hear at the expense of your safety. This is what we're dealing with. And this is why Biden sent missiles to Poland. And this is why he okayed long-range missiles, because we can't have a peace treaty with Putin. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead now and we're going to give you a collective reading. So if you would like to find out what is in store for your future, I would love to. Does that help? Now you see it, right? You have all the facts. Somebody who cares about you is telling you the truth. I'm showing you the data. I haven't hid anything from you. I'm telling you 100% the truth, and I want you to have the power, and I will give you the power. What if you feel like you can't stay in the United States? We can help you with that. If you feel you do want to live in the United States and become politically active and try and save, I think that's noble. But that's what's going on. Well, Diva, that is not the position of the West, because here's the problem with giving up land to Russia would be that they would have permanent troops in that location, and that would make Ukraine vulnerable to a second attack while they rearm. And that is also not a working solution. The only solution is that Putin needs to be removed and his troops need to withdraw. If you look at the data, I don't like giving the look. We all want to get along. We all want peace, which is why there's a March, December 7th to get a peace treaty with Putin organized, you guessed it, by MAGA and Putin. Do they have the same data I have? Of course they do. So why are they doing this if the solution is that Putin would become the king of the world, Iran would become the king of the world, and we would become militarily weakened, particularly if we cut defense contracts and defense, and then in the end, who wins? They do. You see how this works? We have to fight. Thank you, Joel. Well, they could invite him to Poland for a 3-day peace conference. That ought to be enough time to have the Israelis organize something. Hey, Putin, would you like to come to Poland for a 3-day peace conference? I'll bring some of my friends. We're going to be serving excellent food. Leave your security team at home. It's just going to be us. We'll have a great time. You could do something like that. Make him believe you're going to sign yes, we need a peace treaty. That's exactly what. And then take him out during the peace treaty, which is what they did to Hamas in Tehran. They made it out like the opposition that wanted to assassinate the head of Hamas made it out like he was there on a meeting, and then they bombed where he was staying. So the most vulnerable Putin is outside of Russia. So if he's outside Russia, that is when we can grab him. But I promise you, as a proud Israeli, they got this data. They ripped through my data and they agreed with the first 3 phases. The question you have to ask yourself is, what are they going to do about phases 4 through 6? I think I know. Which means that they're trying to isolate Putin either to, well, we want him tried. We're also in the process of slowly dismantling Iranian leadership. So that tells me, as the remote viewer, that they're following phases 4 through 6. You know, what does the Republican Party want? To be defeated? To lose in battle to the east? A peace proposal today means defeat tomorrow. I rack my head. You should have seen me. I was so freaking hysteric when I was putting this data together. I had a friend block me. I'm not wrong. If I was wrong, they would have disagreed with me. They didn't disagree with me. They followed through. They implemented what I suggested because I was right. And I'm not saying that to be a narcissist. I'm saying that because the data is the data. You can't change the data. It's a lot on your head when you see stuff like that. It's a lot on your shoulders. And then you have to give it to the right people. But it also makes you think you're crazy. Like, why is the world looking this way when that's the data? This is the data, people. This is the data. Challenge my data. I'll show you the data. Challenge me. They didn't even want, don't you want to challenge me? I can prove I'm right. They accepted it. They knew it was the data. So what's the Republican Party doing? You're actively working against the United States? You see how screwed up this is? If that's the data, then why are you making a deal with Putin? Makes no sense. Thank you for the donation to Feeding America. Much appreciated. Don't cry and be hysterical. But you got to admit there's something wrong with our country, that they are actively, oh yes, we know that they will rearm and then defeat the United States in 3.5 years. This is what we want. That's what you want, Tulsi Gabbard? The data is showing that they will surpass us militaristically. You're pulling us back. You're removing us from vital trade routes. And then you're paying them to your enemy to arm. How do you think this is going to happen? What do you think's going to happen, genius Tulsi Gabbard? What do you think's going to happen? We're disarming and we're paying them to rearm. What do you think, genius, is going to happen? Elon Musk with your 200 IQ or whatever. Fine, tell me, the person who's not as smart as you, who wrote the proposal that you said you supported, help me understand what I got wrong. Help me. Help them because they're having to decide whether or not to leave or stay in the US. Help us understand what we got wrong because the data from what everybody here, we got what, 166 people? From what we see, it's pretty self-explanatory. You're asking us to reduce our arms and to give money to hostile countries that want to wipe us off the map so that they can use that money to rearm. Is that right? Yourself in the next couple of years. Let's see what Spirit has to say. Just give us the facts. They just want the fact. They want information so that they can make intelligent decisions. Right? All right. Where you are at right now. Did I freeze again? Oh. Oh, am I back? Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, folks. It's I think something's going on with cables. There's weird stuff going on downtown. Where you're at right now, the best thing for you to do based on Spirit and your current situation right now is to be logical and to look at data and to not be emotional in any way, to not run off half-cocked, just to be as logical and rational as possible. The base of the matter is the Emperor, which is logic and reason, and your karma card is the Eight of Pentacles, which is mastery. The best thing that you can do for yourself right now based on Spirit is that you must master your own life and be able to look at your life, your finances, and your situation as objectively as possible. All right, so try and be as logical as possible. Do an account and a reckoning of your finances. How much money is going in? How much money is going out? What does your operation look like right now? Be as masterful as you can. Be as precision focused as possible about your work and be as logical as possible. This will secure your job prospects while you figure out what you want to do. So if you're working a job, you want to be the best at your job. You want to be the most logical. You want to be the least emotionally irrational. You want to come, be professional, be logical, and be sane. So if you're only saving 5%, try to get it up to 10% or 15% cash on hand, right? So calm down and get organized. This is the first thing that Spirit is advising for all of us. Have you looked at your finances? Have you looked at your budget? Have you looked at your rent, your mortgage, your cats, your dogs? Have you done a thorough account and a reckoning of yourself and your situation? Where you're at right now, put the past behind you. The election is lost. The people voted for Trump. They voted for Trump. He won the majority because he was name recognized. They didn't know who Harris was, and because they had romanticized the past. I don't think that this is a stolen election, even if they tried. I don't think under a Biden administration that happened. I think there's a lot of rumors going around, but I think that I've spoken to a lot of Trump supporters. They're coming out of the woodwork. A lot of people secretly voted for him and didn't want to admit it. The point is that Queen of Swords is here. The past is gone. We have to think in terms of the future. And the crossing card, poverty. Walking away from the man that drags you down. If anybody or anything is dragging you into poverty, you have to cut cords. You have to seriously look. Is the kid in the basement that you're supplying with endless Twinkies, is this working for you? You know, is there anybody or anything in your life that is dragging you down, that is putting you in poverty? And if so, you need to maybe get rid of them, because Five of Pentacles is a poverty card, and it often has to do with situations or people that put us in poverty. What is above you? a great celebration. Armistice, possibly the end of a war. Good tidings that good news are coming. What you are sitting in, a desire for new partnerships, stability. Wherever you roam, you want it to be stable. What you are leaving, a feeling of victory, and you're entering into a time of things are ending. So, according to these cards, it feels like the war is winding down, and I think Putin lost. He doesn't have any more weapons. He's mooching off of North Korea because the rest of the world doesn't want to keep this party going. So things are changing. There's offers of peace, love, and good harmony coming in. According to the remotes, we should be cautious. And that peace, love, and harmony is what people want. It's an emotional response that could have devastating consequences and lead to the defeat of the United States in the future. But we do have this armistice or loving energy coming and a judgment being made. It's counterintuitive, right? To not take it. Hopes and fears. We're confused. We don't know what to do. And the final outcome for us, battles. It's a battle of ego. Avoid battles of the ego. Bullshit whimsy. Well, clarify which part is bullshit. Otherwise, I might have to block you because we don't talk to people, and you certainly won't be talking to me like that on this channel. I have zero tolerance for people that don't treat me right. So, Carrie, do you want to be permanently blocked? Because we're right about there. Yes. Yeah, you're out. Because you annoy me. Let's see, where is this Carrie? Did somebody get rid of Carrie yet? We can agree to disagree, but oh, Carrie is blocked on. Guess you don't exist anymore, Carrie. Bye. Yeah, so North Korean troops, good. I'm glad they're fleeing because they didn't know how to fight a foreign enemy. They only knew how to keep their own people in. So I see fighting. So, be logical, be rational, avoid fights when you can. Don't get in. You're going to be okay. You pull double aces, ace of swords. If you're logical and reasonable and avoid conflict, you should do fine. Our enemies have a heavy load. And then the final outcome for us is consider your business. Everyone here has the opportunity to have a little bit of a side business, whether it's babysitting people's cats and dogs when they're away. Say you move to Puerto Vallarta and then you start a little side hustle in Puerto Vallarta where you watch cats and dogs of expats that travel a lot. You could have an extra $1,000 a month just taking care of expats' pets who travel, and it could be under the table, so nobody needs to know about it. That's one of the number one things that people are requesting in senior communities is that live abroad is pet sitters. I think that's kind of neat. I would do that, go to Albania and be a pet sitter for 2 weeks. Well, think about it. If you're a retiree and you own a condo in Mazatlan, but you want to go back to the United States for a month and visit your kids, who's going to take care of your cat? Because you've now relocated to Mazatlan, or you've now relocated. And so a lot of people just start a business taking care of expats, whether it's being a card reader for expats, a tarot reader, a cat sitter, a dog walker, house cleaner, cooking meals, delivery meals. All of these things can be things you can do under the table, taking care of expats, mom for hire, cleaning people's homes, taking care of their animals, etc. Being a card reader, a nurturer. But there's money and a side hustle coming for many of you with the Queen of Pentacles moving into final outcome. So a message from Spirit, take care of your home, hunker down, protect yourself, and make a decision. Are you going to leave or stay? And either decision is fine. There's no judgment. It's based on your individual situation according to spirit. There's no black and white, like we all have to march out. Many of you would be wise to stay put. You tend to have a more rooted personality, and spirit is saying it would be advised for you to actually stay where you're at rather than leave. So I think that that's really cool, because spirit is being logical and practical and not just telling us what we want to hear. All right, I'm going to call it quits. I got some stuff to do here in the house. Hopefully you all enjoyed your reading. If you're trying to get in for a reading with me, you can go to tarotwithwhimsy.com. Yeah, pet sitting. There's plenty of things. There's plenty of ways to earn money from expats when you live outside the States. All right, be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. God bless. Peace out. And we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone. Thanks for your love and support. Bye.